congratulations to all of you, because in theory, you are right in the front of the curve on the latest trends in travel. Expedition cruising is the latest big buzz in travel. That's why we put on these ones that we've got over the next few weeks. The one today with the HX Hurtigruten is a particularly special one, because also on this Zoom is Margaret, the manager for our Wells shop. And the person doing the presentation for us today, Hayley from HX, the two of them were lucky enough to be in the Antarctic this time last week, if you can believe it. So getting first-hand knowledge could not be any better than coming from those two who are on the Zoom this morning. And so what I would say is watch the presentation. If during the presentation it raises any questions, you can tap your screen and there's a chat facility. Just type any questions in you have in that chat facility. Or if you like, at the end, we'll unmute everybody and you can ask questions to Hayley or to Margaret yourself right at the end of the session. So during the session, tap them in the chat facility. After the session, we'll open up so you can ask anything that you would like then. So without further ado, I will pass you over to Hayley, who will no doubt inspire you about all things expedition. Hayley, over to you.
Thanks so much, Miles. Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to share my screen with you all so you can see my presentation. So thank you so much for joining us. So yes, thank you so much. As Miles said, I have just returned from Antarctica, returned Tuesday night. So this is my first consumer event. So you're very lucky to get first-hand insight of everything that we've experienced and the whole HX brand that we have here as well. So I'll start off with a little bit of background information about Hurtigruten, and perhaps we look a bit different to how you've seen us in the past, and that's because in December of last year we did go through a rebrand. We are still very close to our sister company, which is the Coastal. So Hurtigruten Expeditions has stepped away from our coastal part of the business, and that's really where we're very well known and we're very well established. And many of you may have done a coastal experience and they are quite unique. However, what we do from a expedition proposition is extremely different to our coastal. The coastal obviously is still working, so there's still cars, it's still transportating. So we don't operate like that in the expedition. Everyone joins and leaves at the same point, and it's a very different experience. So we have stepped away from that. We now sort of have a nice premium look, and that's where we sit within the competitors. We're much more of a premium. There are some luxury, but we're really all about offering a very authentic and raw expedition experience within these very unique parts of the world. So that's why now our branding looks a little bit different and why we've gone for HX. But we still do work very closely with our coastal partners.
We were born in a time of great change, when Norwegian explorers were changing our view of the world. In 1896, we set out on our great journey, driven by curiosity to sail in the wake of giants, changing our horizons from Norway to all points of the compass, where polar bears roam, penguins dance, and albatrosses float above archipelagos. We changed course, and we changed courses. We changed coats and boats, changing the ways you can discover and learn, the way you can see, feel, and hear the world around you, changing the lives of those who share our journey, with the help of those who have changed ours. We've taken people further and deeper into a world of wonder. And along the way, we changed the way we sail for everyone. But some things will never change. Powered by our curiosity, always exploring, and forever inspired to protect our home. We do all this for one purpose: to change the way you see the world.
So hopefully that's inspired you and showed you some great aspects of what we do so well at Hurtigruten. We are experts in expeditions since 1896, so we're definitely not the new guys on the block. We have a very strong heritage, and we have been doing this for some time, and we are definitely made for curious travellers. So that's those people that want to delve a little bit deeper. And we're definitely finding in a post-pandemic world that there is so much more demand for those curious travellers. People don't just want to see things from afar, they definitely want to be able to touch and experience these destinations, and that's definitely what HX can deliver on a phenomenal front for you. And we are leaders in mindful adventure, so we're very conscious of the environment. We want to make sure that we look after the environment and also local communities as well. So we've introduced a number of things at HX where we have got our hybrid vessels. We also removed any single-use plastics on board as well. And we will source a lot of our food from local communities. So we're keeping our carbon footprint down. We're also giving you very authentic dining opportunities as well. Margaret and I sampled some fantastic Argentinian meat on board the vessel. So we really can give those nice, authentic experiences when you're traveling with us. So we are the world's most sustainable expedition line, which is something that we're extremely proud of. And we do really want to change the way that people see the world and make sure that you find yourself in a world of wonder. And there are 3 statements that when you're traveling with us, that they really will be something that you're very aware of throughout the whole journey. So we are for the discerning explorer at sea. We are a small premium expedition fleet, and our 2 hybrid vessels, which are new, they have a maximum of 500 people, but we do have smaller offerings as well, and I'll go into a little bit more detail on that for you. But the great thing that we do is offer remote destinations, villages and beaches. And I think one thing that's really important to take away from this presentation is that expedition isn't just to cold waters. We can get a little bit of warmth too as well in places like Galapagos, Central America, and when we're going through Panama. So our ships are designed for warm and cold water as well. And we are a far greener opportunity, which is something that we're extremely proud of, especially when we are going to these very unique places. We want to preserve them for generations to come, and HX definitely does deliver that. So here is our fleet. We've got Nansen and Amundsen, and these are our 2 hybrids. So this was the first ever hybrid powered ship, operate quite similarly to if you've got a hybrid car. And obviously they do contribute to how we can be one of the most environmentally friendly lines out there as well. As I said, they have a capacity of 500. The trip that Mags and I were just on, we had 369 people on. We don't tend to overcapacitize. We don't want to impact on what we deliver when we're in Antarctica. And there are some environmental rules when you're in that location as well. So you're only allowed to land 100 people at a time. So if we can keep that under 400, that's 4 landings a day, and everyone does get the opportunity to get off and explore and really see what this continent is like. We then have Fram. Fram is a much smaller vessel at 250. Spitsbergen has a capacity of 220. And then we have Santa Cruz that we use when we're in Galapagos that has just got a capacity of 95 people. So you will find that the amenities do differ slightly across the fleet, but we have strong links to our Norwegian heritage with saunas, jacuzzis, and all of these vessels have recently had refurbishments as well. If anyone hasn't muted, if they could do, I'm just getting a bit of feedback. Thank you so much. So that's an overview on the fleet that we have. Now, who do we appeal to? We do appeal to so many different types of demographics, but perhaps you might have an interest in science, wildlife, and the natural world and history. We're definitely a line for you to consider. If you're well travelled, but you're just looking for something a little bit more and you want to go that deeper, People that are definitely looking to explore and learn. And if you're not that type of person that likes to sit on a beach and you really want to be active, again, we're definitely one for you to consider. If you prefer walking boots to tuxedos, we are big for you. And I think that was a big takeaway for all of us that were in Antarctica last week is, you know, it's quite an intensive itinerary. You're on and off the zodiacs. The last thing any of us wanted was to probably get dressed up in a dicky bow or a formal dress. We could go to dinner as we were, and that was a really nice element for us. The food quality is definitely still up there with those luxury lines. We were really spoiled with a great variety of cuisine, but just in a much more relaxed environment, which I think was a really important takeaway for us. The other thing is that you will engage with like-minded people. Now, we do have a real variety of ages that travel, but ultimately everybody is there because they want to explore this wonderful continent. We're also great for people that have interests in photography, hiking, and being outdoorsy. We do have a photographer on board that's on hand to give lessons. They're always out on deck to point people in the right direction. And the great thing that we do when you return with HX, you actually get a digital sort of photo book of everything that we've experienced. So that's videos, and a great variety of pictures as well, which were taken from our professional photographer, that you can have as your own as well. Perhaps you've been out to Africa and you've enjoyed a safari. We do feel that this is links quite nicely if you've got that hunger for that animals and wildlife and expedition, not knowing what you're going to see in one day. If you've enjoyed that in that environment, you will definitely enjoy coming to Antarctica and other parts of the world with HX. If you've experienced a river cruise, we see that we're quite aligned to that kind of demographic as well. People that prefer a smaller environment, that like being right in the heart of a destination as well. And we are great for solo travellers. The trip that Mags and I were just on had a real variety of solos, ranging from, I met one girl that was celebrating her 30th birthday, right to people sort of in their 70s. Again, because you're with those like-minded people, you're all there for that invested experience with the wildlife and the ice that everyone does tend to get along fantastically. And if you enjoy doing groups at home, obviously there's a lot of activities. We have art classes, you've got all the science classes that you can go to. And also if you're engaged and concerned about the environment, it's nice to know that you're traveling with a line that really has those thoughts at the forefront of how we deliver our product across the world. As I touched on, not just cold water and not just Antarctica. I mean, that is something that we deliver beautifully, but please do consider us for other parts of the world. So Alaska is an area that we focus on quite nicely. And for me, I've done Alaska on the white ships, and I think that this is definitely an area that I'm wanting to return to, so I can just delve that little bit deeper, enjoy the Zodiac landings, and just see it in quite a different light. We also do British Isles, so some people may start off with something a little bit closer to home, just to see how they feel in this type of cruising environment, and then they might then increase to destinations slightly further away. We do also do Caribbean and Central America. Galapagos is a big seller for us. We do grand expeditions, so not world cruising, but we tend to go from North to South Pole, which is quite a unique experience if you're really looking at ticking off some huge bucket list things. It's a 76-day tour that we do from north to south. Greenland is a ever-trending destination with us as well, and we do full expedition in Iceland where we do circumnavigation, Northwest Passage, Svalbard, which is the Arctic. Now, when you're in the Arctic, that's when you're going to see those polar bears. We go in the British summertime, and that's when you get land of the midnight sun, so you can literally be out on deck, watch the sun hit the horizon, and then start rising again. It is quite an experience. So definitely a huge range of destinations. We're always looking at increasing these and delivering phenomenal itineraries to parts of the world that people are looking to explore in a different manner. So we will change the way that you see the world, and we will offer life-changing exploration. And how we deliver that is predominantly on these fantastic Zodiac ribs that we use. So this is how we go from ship to shore, but we also use these for a little bit of fun as well. So perhaps one morning or one afternoon, we take you off in a Zodiac rib so you can actually go and enjoy the wildlife. I had some great experiences last week where we just went out on one of these Zodiacs and we had sort of an hour. We cut the engines and there were about 8 whales just surrounding us. It is a good time of year for whale watching at the moment, so they're all heading north. So we did have some fantastic sights and something that will hold dearly for forever, really. Also, we took them out and went all around sort of different ice carvings. We also had a leopard seal chasing us. So don't think of these as just ship to shore transportation. They're definitely there for the whole experience, and that's what sets us aside from a lot of other expedition and standard cruise lines. And if you're concerned about how to get on and off them, they are quite easy. We've got our embarkation deck here down on deck 3. So it's just a simple stepping from the pontoon into the Zodiac there. If people do have limited mobility, there is some assistance, but we do really require in this type of expedition that there is some level of fitness to be able to get ashore and enjoy the destination. We're definitely not a cruise by sail by cruise line, sorry. We are someone that is going to really immerse you in the destination and allow you to get off and explore this phenomenal continent. Another video to share with you. Now, unfortunately, we didn't experience this last week because it's slightly towards the end of the Antarctic season that Mags and I were out there. So it's coming into winter, so it's not possible to do. But if you go sort of January and February, this is something that I think should be on everyone's bucket list. So again, hopefully that has inspired you to get on board and experience something like that. Obviously, it's very safe to do so, but the ice then becomes the dock, the port, and you can go from ship right onto the icy shores there, which is such a unique experience and something that we're extremely proud to offer with HX. So as I touched on earlier, we do have that casual and authentic style. So we do not ask anyone to dress up for dinner. You know, you can go in your jeans, you can still go in your wet weather gear. We embrace all of that on board the ships, but we still do deliver that with great food and a great environment and great atmosphere as well. To give you an example of some of our cabin types, this is on the newer vessels, so we really can see that we're heading back to that Norwegian, Scandinavian vibe here. Very, very comfortable. The wonderful thing about our new hybrid vessels is that there's actually no inside cabins. So everybody has a wonderful ocean view or a balcony or a suite. The great thing here as well, as you can see from the picture at the bottom there, that our ocean views are not those tiny restricted portholes. They're a very nice, large openings, so you can benefit from those phenomenal views when you wake up in the morning. But for those of you that do like a balcony, we have a great variety on board as well, right through to like those owner suites where you've got separate living quarters, bathroom with a bathtub, walk-in closets. So we do have a variety of cabins to suit all needs there as well. Max and I were very lucky. We had a balcony for the week, or for the 10 days. And it was lovely to wake up in the morning and pull back the doors and just really sort of take in that fresh Antarctic air every morning, and the views. Because one thing that you do find when you're down there is, even though you're in one continent and you're not perhaps traveling many nautical miles, the your outlook changes vastly from one day to the other. And I think that's what makes Antarctica so beautiful as well. Obviously, these balconies are great in warmer climates. When we're going through Panama or we're in Central America, you can obviously have different benefits from them. But if you can, I would always recommend that one of the balcony cabins are taken. We do have that campfire spirit on board, and again, that helps back to just traveling with lots of like-minded individuals, people that are really there for the education, and to learn about the destination that they're traveling to and all the wildlife and the history there as well. We have some great dining venues on board our vessels. So on our smaller ships, so on Santa Cruz that goes to Galapagos, that does only have one restaurant, but that only has a capacity of 95 guests. When you go up to Spitsbergen and Fram, they have 2 restaurants on board, but on our newer vessels, we do have 3 restaurants. So we do have a very relaxed dining venue for lunch. It opens at noon through till 9 p.m. That's where you can go and get your burgers, more of a sort of a takeaway option there for you as well. Then we have our dining option, which offers buffet for breakfast and lunch, and then for dinner, most nights it's an a la carte option, and that's available as well for everybody. And then you can see our slightly posher restaurant here. This is for our suite guests. So suites do have their own allocated dining, and that's available for them for breakfast, lunch and dinner. However, if you are in a standard cabin, perhaps you're celebrating a birthday, or you're just celebrating the fact that you've ticked off that final continent or an epic day ashore, you can pay just a €25 supplement to dine within the suite restaurant. It's something that we did, and it's definitely something if you are celebrating that I would hugely recommend. It was a fantastic evening with many courses. You get a little amuse-bouche. The chocolates that they close with at the end are absolutely delightful. So it just gives you a more of an elevated experience to the dining. And what's great about these newer vessels is that you do have that variety. So 3 restaurants to dine in across your stay. And then we have a real thirst for knowledge on board. And again, this is something that we're super proud that we work very, very hard to deliver. So there will be a number of lectures on board that are delivering information on many different aspects. We also work with the citizen science projects. So clients can actually go ashore, they can gather the data, bring it back, and they're actually involved in that as well. So that is something that we're very proud of. We also have a full expedition team on board, and that will range from 25 individuals through to about 35. And they are there to really enhance your experience. So if you're out on open deck, you will find these members of the team. They will tell you what type of whale you're looking at or what type of bird. They will heighten the experience to you no end. They're also available to drive the zodiacs, and they're there just literally filling you with knowledge and information on what you're experiencing along the way, and delivering phenomenal lectures. Now, if you're not someone that wants to go down to the lecture hall and you would prefer to stay in your cabin, it's all streamed through the cabin, so you can watch in the comfort there. And also we do record them. So there is a lot going on these ships. You can be busy from like 8 o'clock in the morning through to 8 o'clock at night. So the wonderful thing is, if you do miss something, you can go back to your stateroom and you can tune in and watch it at a later date as well. And obviously mindful adventures, so we do make sure that we are protecting the environment, that we're protecting local communities, and that we also have our Hurtigruten Foundation. This is where we give back to those types of communities as well, and where we will make sure that we're enhancing the areas that we are travelling to. Now, something that we have just launched this week is our all-inclusive proposition. So currently, if you were to travel with HX, you would have obviously all your meals included, and we offer drinks at lunch and dinner time. So beer and wine and soft drinks is available whilst you're eating, very similar to a river cruise. But we're actually now moving to an all-inclusive module. So anyone that sails with us from the 20th of October onwards, you will be able to grab a beer, a hot chocolate, anytime that you require. Perhaps you're after a little pre-dinner cocktail, and all of that will be inclusive for you. So this is a great offering. Just it's the next stage in our rebound, in our elevation, in delivering a great product and making sure that everything is available at your fingertips when you're with us. So, as I said, breakfast, lunch and dinner every day is included. You can enjoy wine, beer, spirits and cocktails throughout the day and evenings. There may be some charges if you're going for those high-end liquors or high-end cocktails, but generally speaking, you will have a fully inclusive option. We have tea and coffee available throughout the day and soft drinks. When you embark with HX, because we're all about the environment and no single-use plastic, you get given a HX water bottle, and there are water dispensers all around the vessel so you can keep hydrated. We also have the saunas and the hot tubs, great variety of expeditions and activities. We do not expect gratuities as well, which is another great thing and really does differ us from other lines. When you travel with us in cold climates, we will give you a HX expedition jacket, which is a waterproof. For warmer climates, we'll be giving out backpacks, and of course you get that water bottle that I just touched on. And then another big thing is that Wi-Fi is available at no extra cost. If you are in these areas and you're taking these amazing photos, you want to be sending them home to the grandchildren, to the children, or your colleagues. So we definitely need to be offering free Wi-Fi. And actually, it worked really, really well considering everyone was taking a lot of photos and sending a lot of content back. I think Mags is going to actually model our wonderful jacket. I can see she's just popped it on. Beautiful, beautiful. And it's a great keepsake as well. Really is. So yeah, thanks for modeling that for us. So at the moment, we have a free flight campaign. Some of you may have heard the wonderful Joanna Lumley talk about this on your TV screens during advert time. We are offering free flights. Now, this is going to expire on the 31st of March. So you have a little bit of time to get your booking in before the end of March to take advantage of this great offer. So here are some of our lead-in prices for you, including the free flights. So at the moment, we've got Iceland, which starts at just over 3.2, Greenland, Alaska prices. But what is really, really interesting here is Antarctica has a lead-in price at the moment, including all your flights, transfers, for just over £6,300 per person. Obviously, we're still aware this is a substantial commitment, but if this is a destination that you're really wanting to travel to and ticking it off your bucket list, we are trying to make places like this more affordable and accessible to everybody. Obviously, there are some other lines out there that their lead-in prices are what 2 people will cost with us. So we are delivering a great product at affordable prices there as well. We do have some fantastic suite offers as well, which obviously does give you heightened experiences, having that extra square footage, the extra dining. And Galapagos starts from just over 5.8. So all these prices are available to the end of the month, and they are flight inclusive as well. So phenomenal offer that we have. When we embarked the ship, we were told, if you can describe Antarctica, you've never been. And I've never heard a true word spoken. I'm still struggling to really come to terms with what it means to me and to describe such a phenomenal event.
So we saw an Arctic turn.
And the only thing I can say I will try on who we are and what we do. So this is the little group that we have there. You can see we were able to enjoy some beers out on deck. One thing that I experienced, which was fantastic, I did actually camp overnight in Antarctica. So there are, although we're very much an inclusive line, there are opportunities where you can pay for extra activities, and camping is one of them. It has a price of just over €400. I think it's €440. We're limited to 30 campers per cruise, and that really does vary. The cruise that we were just on, 45 people were hopeful. Sometimes we might have more than that, we might have less than that. So we operate a lottery system. So this is where you put in for extra activities, and we try and operate it as fairly as possible. We also have kayaking that we can offer. There is a slight charge for that as well. So there is a real range of activities. Having said that, if you choose not to do kayaking or you don't do the camping, your days will be extremely full. We look at providing a landing a day and at least a cruising a day. So you do get a lot of variety, and you do get the opportunity to get ashore and touch down in this fantastic place. Also, as I said, hailing back to our Norwegian, we have some wonderful facilities on board, and the sauna is somewhere I definitely enjoyed while we were away. You've got those wonderful floor-to-ceiling windows. You can sit up there, look out at the icebergs. You can see the whales breaching. It is a great place to relax, and the food quality, as I said, although we might be in jeans and jumpers, we're not compromising on the quality of food that we're eating there. So there is an exclusive offer for anyone that's on this call today. If you book before the 31st of March and you quote HQ100, we will give you €100 onboard credit per person. Now, obviously, if you're traveling under the all-inclusive model, that can be used in the shops and also our spa. Mags and I definitely enjoyed the spa. Great to, after those long flights, to go and have a massage or a facial, because it is very dry out there, so you need to keep hydrated and keep your skin moisturized. So anyone that does book before the 31st of March, you can have your free flights, your 10% saving, and onboard credit. And if you're also booking after the 20th of October, you're going to get that all-inclusive as well. So you can maximise on all of the opportunities and promotions that we currently have. So thank you so much for your time. I hope I've inspired you and given you an insight into what we do and who we are. You're so lucky that Mags was with us, because she is now going to be on hand. She's going to be the expert for Antarctica amongst Miles's team. So if you do have any questions, please let me know now, or let Mags know.
You have got a couple. In fact, you've got a few, actually. So John just said MS Maud, ?
So Maud is going to be doing round Britain, coming up from April onwards, and then she's moving over to our coastal product. What we are trying to do across both brands is hybridize the whole fleet. So it means that we have to take some vessels out of operation to do that, and we're just having to share and move around at the minute.
Okay. Ruth says, what about solos?
So we do offer solos. We will have certain sailings that have no single supplements. The best advice I can give you, if you see that a sailing has a no single supplement, book it when you see it, because they are limited and they are extremely popular. The great thing that we do is we can do a hold, so you can contact Miles Morgan if you see that single, and they can hold it for you, and then you've got sort of 3 days to ultimately decide if you want to go ahead and make that commitment. But they are popular and they are limited, so if you see them, snap them up there and then.
Okay. Ruth also asked, whereabouts do you go in South America?
So what you'll find is when the fleet will move from north to south. So once we've done our summer up in Iceland and Svalbard and what have you, we'll do a northwest passage, and we'll come down and do Alaska, and then we will do the west coast of South America, right the way down to Patagonia and the Chilean fjords, and then we start our Antarctica season.
Great, okay. Good question from John. Can onboard credit be used for the optional excursions?
Yes, it definitely can be, yeah.
Good question. And Ness, I hope that your question about single cabins and what the single supplement, I hope that's been answered, so that's good. Any other questions? Anybody that wants to ask one, you can unmute yourself now and ask away if you'd like to. Or alternatively, you can always type something in, whichever you would prefer. I will give you a few minutes. I think for me, watching that, the breadth of product that's covered under Expedition is probably the biggest single thing. I think you think Arctic, you think Antarctica, but you don't necessarily think Galapagos and all the other things that you offer, particularly a Caribbean, for example. And so it is a very, very broad spectrum. And I think really that the whole point of putting these events on is you watch it and you think, that's not us. And if this has prompted you to think that's not us, that's brilliant too, because at least you've learned. Or, crumbs, that's exactly me. I am the sort of person that likes to get into a destination and experience it fully. Then that is what it's all about. So I think, for me, taking away from this, it's very obvious who you should be if you're looking to book one of these trips. And equally, it was obvious. Margaret has done a blog which we'll be publishing shortly, and it's very obvious. You could almost feel the passion in the writing that she did on that blog. She enjoyed herself so much, but that will be out over the next couple of weeks to you. Oh, here we go. Here's a really positive comment for you, Hayley. Thank you, Ness. It's really changed my view of Hurtigruten. I envisaged them being converted car ferries. Very impressed. That's actually a really good point, because those of you that know Hurtigruten, they used to be the ships that went down the Scandinavian coast delivering the post and actually sometimes taking school kids to school. And so that was, if you like, the old Hurtigruten. And I think now they've moved to HX. They have got a much newer fleet. They're very, very different proposition for holidaymakers than they were back then. So it's good that you picked that up from the presentation. Mads, you've unmuted yourself. Would you like to give any pearls of wisdom to the people watching in terms of your experience?
Yeah, I would. I can't see myself, so apologies.
We can
you
see
hear
your
me
dining
okay?
table. We can see your dining table. Yes, we can hear you.
I've got a PC and an iPad running. So I'd just like to say, for me, I've even written it down. The highlights was that. Can you see that?
No, we can only see your dining table. That's all I can see.
All right, the camera's reversed then. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, the highlights for me was the whales waking me up. Waking up to whale song is going to be very unique. It's just amazing. I opened my balcony and there they were just across the water from me, singing away to each other. The other highlight, I think, would be sailing in almost total silence so that you can hear everything, the cracks in the glacier, in the ice, in the whales singing as they pass you by. So yeah, brilliant trip. Miles, I don't know how I'm going to top this unless it's the moon.
You could put your application in, Megs.
Okay. Or the Galapagos.
Well, if there's no further questions, we'll finish there. I hope everybody's enjoyed that and taken something from it. Ness, thank you very much for your comment, because this is what this is about. It's for you to experience what these cruise lines are like, the difference between them, and whether you enjoy them, but equally whether you're not going to enjoy them, because that's just as important. And, those of you who see me present on cruise before, I've always said there is a cruise ship for everybody. The crucial thing is getting on the right one that fits you and the type of holiday you want. So, Hayley, thank you very much for your presentation. Mags, thank you for joining us as well. Hope everybody enjoyed them, and maybe see some of you on the next one that we have over the next few weeks. Thanks very much, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Miles.